Hey everybody, it's Bob or Dog Q Bones. Welcome back. It's been a hot minute since I've done a video. The holidays were really fun, and also really time consuming for me, so it was hard to hop on, make a video, or back. So, there's a few things going on here that I want to talk about. The Decathlon, can never speak, one day I'll learn, has been going on. Unfortunately, a lot of the events coincided with times I couldn't really play in them. So I've only gotten 2 tokens so far because that's when I was able to first start, just, the 24th. And the second thing I wanted to talk about, I talk about this a lot in my articles, but the concept of the pocket deck. What do I mean by the pocket deck? So, content creators constantly show off their successes, right? You see their cool new list. Oh, this brew got me to top 100 mythic, whatever, right? But the thing you very rarely see, including from me, are the failures, right? Because why would you want to see that? Why do you want to see a deck that like, oh yeah, that sucked? Right? Wouldn't make much sense. And there's plenty of those, I make a deck, I'm like, I think this is going to suck. And it does. No surprise. I make a deck, I'm like, this seems decent. And then it sucks. It happens, right? It's part of the grind. But my rank is not the biggest fan of it. It hurts. You frequently find yourself in not the highest of percentages because you're just trying stuff out, right? So what's the pocket deck? The pocket deck is the deck that you can rely on. They're like, okay, I still want to hit top 1200 this month, something I've done pretty much every single month. I've missed it like a few times, more out of apathy than anything. But more or less hit it every time. So I have to always have a deck that like, if I need to grind quickly, get those wins, this is what I'm going to play. And for this month, it's been Azorius Auras for me. So this perfectly coincides with the Decathlon event. It literally just started 15 minutes ago. Right now, it's Alchemy Singleton and Best of 1 Historic. So I was practicing Best of 1 Historic. I was at like 91 or 92% from a lot of my brews. And once I picked up Auras, the wins piled on. Absolutely piled on. I went from 91, 92 to 1222 in then like a course of a day. So if I had to guess, it was something like a 17-5 record. That's the number that sticks out in my head, give or take, right? So let's talk about the deck quickly. So funny enough, I'm generally the champion of Orzhov Auras, but I think for Best of 1, you really like the blue. So gaining access to Arcane Flight, gaining access to Curious Obsession, and gaining access to Staggering Insight, and, a small part, Aether Tunnel as well. They're just such good enchantments in the Best of 1 environment, as Best of 1 is generally not very interactive. It tends to be, I'm just going to focus on my game plan. And, whatever the opponent's doing is just whatever. So having these enchantments that can circumvent blockers, that can find us more gas, that can gain us life and find us more gas, or, once again, circumvent blockers, is really, really good. I really like the Orzhov version for Best of 3, because then you get access to a really good sideboard. You get access to Thoughtseize, which is obviously great against more interactive decks. You get access to Kaya's Ghost Form, which is obviously great against really interactive decks. And if you're facing a lot of really interactive decks in Best of 1, you definitely can play Orzhov. But I've just been playing Azorius because it's much better against the creature strategies. Auras is inherently pretty good against the creature strategies, but if you play Azorius, you're pretty much saying that, like, I'm going to win those matchups more often than not. There is still decks like Elves, which is technically a creature deck, but it really functions more like a combo deck because they just produce so much mana so quickly and overwhelm you before you can kill them. But nevertheless, this deck has just been great for me. It's the classic Auras game plan. You slap down a Selfless Savior, ideally. Love this card. You play an Aura creature, and then you stick it with Auras. My version plays 4 Hushbringer main. Hushbringer is amazing right now, considering how many Inquisitor Captain decks there are. Celestia in general, whether it's humans, whether it's Heliod combo, both really have a hard time beating Hushbringer. And this is just like a fine card otherwise. You'd be surprised how many cards just have ETBs. And this is one of the few decks that can actually make use of this. So, it's just Auras. It's a deck that everyone's used to. I feel like it's a deck that people just don't respect, saying, oh, it's too easy, it's too variance-based. And The variant space I could definitely get behind a bit more, but the easy, not so much. This deck can definitely be difficult. I think the blue-white version is much easier than the Orzhov version, but I don't think either version is necessarily easy. Sequencing is very important. If you mess up any ordering, you can easily lose. Picking your spots when your opponent might have removal is also very scary. Stuff like that. But nevertheless, that's the quick, skinny. So at this point, I'm hoping I'm going to go into the historic event, and you're going to see some great games, and hopefully I get the token first try. If I don't, you might see a cut roughly at this point. We'll see. Let us see what we can do. So there's historic. It is best of one, right? Just to make sure. It's the 7 wins. Yeah, so it has to be best of one. All right. Shadow is another deck I've actually been playing a lot, but that's a much more best of 3 deck. I actually don't love it as a best of 1 deck. Like, I just think the game 1s with Shadow are generally not amazing, but your sideboard is like the best sideboard in Historic. I believe I talked about Shadow in my metagame article. I think it's just really, really good. Has some weaknesses for sure, and the Shadow game plan can sometimes be awkward if you don't have ways to lose life, but I don't know. The deck is very strong. Okay. So here's always like the awkward thing. This hand is far from amazing, but we're definitely going to keep it. If they're a deck that cares about Hushbringer, then they pretty much just auto lose to double Hushbringer. If they're not, then this hand is just like whatever. Not horrible, but well, there's a Temple Garden, so I'm going to assume Hushbringer is going to be a real problem for them. Enchantress doesn't care much about Hushbringer either, so it's hard to say, but they seem to be a creature deck. Okay, so the real contention here is if we want to just start slapping auras on it, or if we want to deploy a second Hushbringer. Generally speaking, I'd rather slap the auras on, because just in case they play something like Declaration in Stone, I don't want to expose my second Hushbringer right now. I'm probably going to end up doing so, like next turn, but I think they realize the writing is on the wall. Hushbringer is really, really good in certain matchups, and it's just an acceptable enough card that you can just play it regardless. Like against like random decks, even like a 5-color Niv, it just stops their Nivs. So like, it's very rarely dead. And because we don't play anything like Kaya's Ghost form, it doesn't hurt us in any capacity. That was always an awkward interaction in the Orzhov version where you want to play Ghost form, but Hushbringer stops Ghost forms. So it was always weird. That went smoothly. Let's see if we can get that again. This is a very strong hand. It's not great if the opponent has hand disruption. But Selfless Savior into Saram and double aura is obviously quite good. Question is, where do we start? It actually might be shocking ourselves turn 1 for the Selfless Savior. Haunted Ridge. Because now we have a bunch of blue enchantments. So if I want to go triple enchantment on 3, which I don't know if I'm going to want to, but to give myself the option, if I shock right now, that seems pretty good. I am afraid of just like an Inquisition, but if they do have that, I can just load up double Curious Obsession on the dog. Whoa, okay. Ah, well, there we go. So they look like some sort of Dragon's deck, obviously. But this is a pretty nasty start. So I don't think there's any card here that's going to snag this core Spirit Dancer, and I'm assuming they're just going to play a 4-drop Dragon. So I can either go Saram into 1 enchantment next turn, or just go triple enchantment. And I think I'm probably just going to go triple enchantment. Just really make the clock juicy. I do not want to sacrifice that. No, thank you. Another Saram. Not bad, but I think I'm going to just start with the Curious Obsession. I'll just go in second Curious Obsession, and then I can dictate what I want to do from there. Probably going to end up playing Arcane Flight, which is fine with me. All right, so we drew a lot of Spirit Dancers, however you want to call them, but we do have to be careful. We do draw a lot of cards, but, you know, they have a reasonably fast clock as well. Okay. All right, Sentinel's Eyes was excellent. That's exactly what we were looking for. Because if they go like Goldspan Dragon, you know, things get a little hairy for sure. Well, I guess they can't attack with both then, but I don't know. We'll see what they have. Moonveil Regent. Okay. Assuming they pop us for 4. Yep. So this is awkward because it actually kills the Selfless Savior as it stands. So I might actually have to put the Sentinel's Eyes on the Selfless Savior just so it doesn't die. I can't sacrifice that yet. Staggering Insight. Okay. That was good. So now, because I preserved my white source, if I go Sentinel's, Staggering Insight on the Core Spirit Dancer, and Sentinel's Eyes on the dog, so they can't kill it. Attack with both. Seems good. I gain 12. They can't kill my dog, and then I'm pretty sure they just die from here. I really wanted to put the Sentinel's Eyes on the Core Spirit Dancer, of course, but protecting the dog was too important. That resolves, and we end the turn. Did they forget that it had 2 toughness? They probably just, like, knee-jerked it, and that's fine. It's going to happen sometimes. At 22, I have a hand flush with stuff to do. Inferno? Sure. So I could play Inferno, hit me for 6, but, like, this is very much a losing battle for them. Because at a minimum, I could just keep attacking with dog. And, you know, obviously the Spirit Dancer, I'm gaining so much life, and they're slowly dying. Then I could just deploy more Spirit Dancers. And if I find another aura, you know, they're probably just dead as well. Now I could sacrifice it. I guess I don't have to. I'm just gaining so much life, so I guess there's just no point. Rather take the 2 at that point. All right, yeah. They're going to run out of threats eventually. Do that. Do that. Do that. All right. So they don't die next turn still. I only have 5 power that I can attack with. If I could play double Saram, I would have, but I couldn't, so I did. Leyline Tyrant? Sure. I think they have to hold back both of them now to not just get run over. Probably in their best interest. If they draw any aura, they just die, so... And if I don't, if I just draw, like, a land, that's whatever. Obviously not a good draw, but it's fine. All right, now we can sacrifice this. Because if we draw any aura, we're going to win anyway. So we don't need the excess mana. Drew lands, unfortunately. So be it. So if I swing out, they do get a free kill. So they actually can kill both my dogs, which I'm not particularly happy with. So I'm just going to attack like that. Keep gaining life, grab Luris, play tap lands, and just see what happens from there. I can't imagine they can win at this point, but I don't want to call it just yet. If they play like Shadow's Verdicts, like I could be in real trouble, hypothetically. I would have a lot of time to... I would be able to reset both dogs, though, and I would still have a Saram. So I'd be far from dead, but that would be very scary. I can't imagine they would play that main deck. But you just never know, right? This also gives me an enchantment because I get to sacrifice dog. And then eat both, technically. Oh, going after Saram, huh? Okay, so this is actually really interesting. So they're going after Saram. I can let that happen. Deploy my second Saram. Sacrifice dog. Then use Sentinel's Eyes and just start drawing a bunch of cards. It's not bad. I think I'm just going to do it this way, though. So I'm going to protect. Then I'm going to use Sentinel's Eyes on this Core Spirit Dancer. Seems fine. Exile those 2 because I have a backup dog anyway. Draw a bunch. Hushbringer 2. Okay, sure. Why not? Staggering Insight. Sure. Then I'm just going to grab Luris because the only way I can really see myself losing is some really weird stuff happening. Like, it'd have to be something along the lines of, like, Shadow's Verdict and Meat Hook Massacre. I don't know. Because now we're going to have 2 lethal attackers. They're trying to find a chump blocker. Presumably. They found a gold span dragon. Okay. You got it. Yeah. I'd say unless they're playing some real interesting options, I don't think they really had a way out. All right, 2-0. Not bad. So the decks we do want to avoid, it depends, but like some of the control decks can be really geared towards beating creature decks. And because I cut all the Adantos, those matchups can now be somewhat scary, but we'll see. Hands are very fine. Start planes, depending on what land they show us, can help dictate our decision. Generally, you know, if we draw lands, they'll wait for the Spirit Dancer till turn 3. Planes. A Johnny's welcome. Okay, so that immediately tells me this Hushbringer is going to really, really hurt them. Yeah, it just completely negates this card. They're going to need a removal spell for Hushbringer specifically, and also, of course, Spirit Dancer. Voice of the Blessed, you got it. So we go Core Spirit Dancer. And I'll just Curious Obsession to Hushbringer. That seems pretty good. I got me 2 cards right now. Yes, please. All right. Based on what they've shown me so far, I doubt they're playing Wrath main. So I feel pretty comfortable in just putting a bunch of auras on my stuff. Also, because I put the Obsession... So I feel like a lot of people might have put Cartouche on the Spirit Dancer rather than Obsession on... Oh, that's cute. Obsession on the Hushbringer. But now what this allows is that they could attack in, feel comfortable, but then I could just like crack back with a really huge creature. Which is more or less what I'm going to do. So let's start with Cartouche here. Take action. SRAM. Perfectly fine. Let's go play that. So I'm going to go another Cartouche. Sentinel's Eyes, too. Whoo-wee. That's going to be good next turn. And just all that glitter's there. Yeah. That is auras for you. Been facing good matchups so far, though. Definitely like seeing the creature decks. I'd be more than happy just to face 4 more creature decks and have this be a relatively easy token, but we'll see. I've also been on the play a lot, I believe, which is also obviously quite helpful. Or maybe it's been split. I'm not positive. Another great hands. Sacred Foundry. Jeskai? Most Jeskai lists I don't think play Sacred Foundry, though. I honestly don't know what Sacred Foundry means right now. Guess we'll find out. Alright, so this is some sort of Jeskai thing. Alright, so we'll bonk. I'm gonna just go Hushbringer right now. If they have a Censor or Jawari Disruption, if they happen to play it, I'd rather them tag Hushbringer. If they have double removal spell, or rather they tag, you know, the Hushbringer or the Selfless Savior first, obviously. We'll see. They also can't Archmage's Charm me on 3. Whoa. Reanimator? Phoenix? That just happens to play Mending? Oh, what is this? All right, this is really scary. This seems to be a combo deck. So combo is not a great matchup for me, obviously, especially on the draw. My hand is pretty slow. I don't think I'm going to have the proper clock. They did miss a land, though, so it's going to help. But that is terrifying. I do not like this. Wish this was a Spirit Dancer, because then I could probably kill them before they can combo off. If they just keep missing lands, they're going to be in trouble, but if they just hit 2 lands in a row, which it looks like they're going to be able to pretty easily, I'm assuming I'm just dead. But I guess I do stop the Sphinx, so they have to have Mizzix's Mastery specifically to get back the Reckoning or something? I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. Oh, but they missed their land again? Sheesh. That's pretty unlucky for them. Okay, a fine draw. Sure. Not sure if it really matters where I put it. Actually, I just realized that was probably a mistake. I think I needed to play the Cartouche because if I went Cartouche and Selfless Savior, then I would definitely have lethal next turn if provided they have no interaction. And now that's not a guarantee. Like, generally, you just want to draw the cards, but I think that was a mistake now that I think about it. Yeah, it was definitely a mistake. So be it, but I still do technically have lethal because I have double Cartouche now, and with the Selfless Saver, that will get me to the requisite 10. But definitely a mistake. All right, they got quite unlucky. I didn't get too punished, or rather, I just did not get punished, so that was pretty fortunate for me. But that's the stuff I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to try to convince you that Auras is a super hard deck to play. I don't believe it's an extremely difficult strategy. Not Azorius, anyway. I think Orzhov can be, but different video, right? But something that seems like obvious can actually have like really like rippling consequences. Sounds quite good. I love double Savior. I was initially only playing 3 without realizing it. I'm like, man, I don't draw Savior enough. Now I added the 4th, and now it's all I see, and I love it. Self-Savior is so good in blue-white. Anyway, yeah, you gotta be really careful with how you're sequencing. You have to really be cognizant about your clock and such. Because, like, the Curious Obsessions and, like, the Curiosities, Staggering Insight, they're just all so tempting to play. Okay. This says to me double removal spell, so I'm gonna bop with Dog first. Yep. I'm not gonna expose Saram. I'll try next turn. So I'm not sure, once again, Sacred... Okay, so there's like a Jeskai control. Alright, they don't have second Unholy Heat at least. So we are just gonna deploy the Saram. I think this is quite safe. If they have Portable Hole, they're going to get me regardless, so I don't want to just play another Selfless Savior, because I want to recoup the Saram value first. And some Jeskai lists play like 3 Portable Hole mains, so you definitely have to be cognizant of that. They do happen to have Portable Hole. That would really suck. Oh, they're the combo deck. Jeskai Creativity. That's also very scary. I would really like Hushbringer for this. Okay. I pretty much need Hushbringer right now, or I will lose. Did not get there. All right, so be it. If they have the combo, they have the combo. As I said before, it's not a deck that's looking to beat combo too often. Okay, we'll just go Selfless Savior again. They don't always have the creativity, but when you think about it, they always have the creativity. Okay, well, if they don't have the land at least, but they might already have the creativity. There's no possible way I can kill them next turn, which sucks. So it's really, once again, Hushbringer or bust. Actually, no, Hushbringer doesn't even work against them. I'm thinking of Containment Priest. Containment Priest would work, but Hushbringer doesn't actually stop them, I don't believe. Huh. I'm actually not sure now, but I guess we're going to find out. So we go old Hushy. Hushy and all that glitters on Saram, I guess? I'm actually not sure if Hushbringer stops it. I don't believe so. I think it's like something as like, it does it prior to entering the battlefield. So I don't think it counts. I actually haven't played against creativity in a long time, so I really can't remember. I'll just swing out. They're not going to flash in a blocker. If they had a 3rd mana, I could play around the Shark Typhoon, but... Okay, draw a card. All right. They're at 6. They have to creativity me now or they die. Oh, did I not play a land? It looked like those were highlighted. I'm pretty sure I already played a land for turn. No, I'm not sure. Thought I did, but could be wrong. All right. Let's find out. Oh, they just don't have it? They don't have creativity. All right. That is helpful. They're on the play, right? I'm not sure. Fly, fly? I feel like they don't have many ways to stop a Saram that's this large. It's a 9/9. Okay. So they can have Helix. They do play some amount of Shark Typhoon, so I do want to be cognizant of that. Unless they think that they can't kill, unless they do have creativity, but they just think that the Hushbringer won't stop it. Or the Hushbringer will stop it, rather. So I'm going to make a 3/4 Hushbringer. Play around as much as possible. Another Arcane Flight. Okay. I think I'll just put both Staggering Insights on it. I could just go Arcane Flight. It's pretty much the same thing, I guess. But I kind of want to save that just in case. What am I saving it for? Doesn't really make much sense. Assuming it's Shark Typhoon to preserve. The life total. If I get settled, I'll cry myself to sleep. Yep. Makes sense. They have to block Saram, obviously. All right, that's a lot of Sarams. Okay, let's see. I don't know if Hushbringer stops the combo. If they have the creativity, I think they're going to be forced to try regardless, because that's just 2 7/7s. If it does stop them, then I still have lethal, because I'll have exactly 3 damage. But it seems that they either believe that it doesn't work, or it does, or they just don't have it, or whatever. Well, no, they can still do it, actually. Right? Yeah, they have the 4 mana. All right, let's see. All right, they drew it. I don't think this works, is the sad part. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Yeah, it does work. Yeah, it gets around Hushbringer. Feels bad, man. Because I do not have a means to beat that, I do have to concede. So close. I guess they knew it didn't work. It just they just didn't have the creativity yet. So close. What can you do? Creativity is a very good deck right now, so I'm not surprised to see it. Hopefully we don't face too many more combo decks. I really don't like those matchups, obviously. Being on the play would have helped that game, I believe. I don't think I was. Oof. His hand is relatively close in a sense, but obviously we can't keep it. We miss a land, we just die. All right, we're going 5. His hand is not great, but it's acceptable. We put away a land. Probably this land, actually. And we put away a Hushbringer. We'll cover our bases. But creativity, yeah, also seems like a very good deck to play in these queues. You're good against, really good against the creature decks. And not many decks are just going to be like naturally good against you. So if I do whiff this, I might play creativity myself. Green-white. Okay. That's good, because Selfless Savior into Hushbringer should be pretty strong. I do need auras, and I don't know what Battlefield Raptor means, but some sort of flying strategy, perhaps? Figured that would be blue-white generally, but we'll see. Maybe they're also auras and just want to make a big flyer. Don't know. Any aura is going to be a great draw, though. And getting Hushbringer down prior to a Skyclave Apparition is also going to be quite important. Blasting my Stones. Okay, so it looks like they're playing some sort of budget deck. I guess we could have probably reasonably surmised that from the Battlefield Raptor, but you never know. You never know. Maybe like they're playing some weird thing that actually like works out really well. People are not on yet, but playing double tap lands, have to assume that their historic collection is not super flush with cards. Sure. My Hushbringer stops that completely, which is nice. More lands. Okay. So I'll just keep deploying. No point in attacking. We just be trading life, and that doesn't really account. Well, I guess if they don't attack back, then this works, but I guess it's just a free point of life, because if they attack back, then it will be... Yeah, this is technically correct. All right. If I just draw another land or another creature, I can rebuy Luris, just deploy Luris, and like figure it out from there. Just like start attacking with a 3/2. You'd be surprised how often you just have to like get the Luris beats in. That's annoying, but thankfully this Hushbringer will stop them. I just have to pray they don't have something like a portable hole. All right. Oh boy. This is not the matchup I want this many Selfless Saviors in, obviously, but we'll just hang out, I guess. Once I draw an aura, things should start looking better for me. But if they get too wide, it's going to be kind of hard to attack as well if I only draw like one aura a turn. If this was a Spirit Dancer, I'd feel a lot more secure because any aura is going to make it much larger. But right now, this lone Hushbringer is really just holding down the fort completely. So this Trailasara is not going to do particularly much either. I can just take the 2. Like, I could hypothetically have a free block with Hushbringer, sack Selfless Savior. I didn't know what I was going to draw yet, though. So I'll do this. Because if I drew a bunch of auras, obviously I didn't want to spend my turn re-grabbing a Selfless Savior. And, you know, it's just 2 damage. Maybe that's kind of irrelevant because I could just... Like, I can just, like, wait on it. I already have 2 other Selfless Saviors, so it's really not a big deal. But we do that. Kill the Panic Bystander. Replay Selfless Savior. Oh, we have a visitor. Hold on. Oh, you a crazy boy right now? He's a little crazy, so he may not stay with me, but we have baby Yoshi with us to lend us his strength. Holy moly. They're going deep. So I can't attack into them anymore. Because they still can just like... Because they still can naturally get to the 27 now. Something I do want to be wary of. Sheesh. And still no auras. This is pretty rough. I'll keep deploying. I don't have attacks. But they can't attack with their Faith Mender either. Sure. Feel a lot more comfortable once I find an aura, but until then, we'll have to wait. Wow, I wouldn't have expected that. I was about to say, that doesn't seem very good for them. Okay. All right. We're just hanging out still. A lot of lands, a lot of creatures. I do play a lot of auras, I believe. Daxos. I think, thankfully, yeah, Hushbringer stops that as well. They still can't attack, really. They can attack with their Righteous Valkyrie if they want, but they don't have to. Come on. All right, like, that's not a bad draw. I could hold it to play around a Declaration in Stone. They find out I'm kind of dead anyway, though, because they just get to go off. that turn. I guess it's not entirely true. Nah, I'm just gonna do it. It's fine. All right. Just wait. This is one of the weirder games I've played in a while. Okay, that's fine. They don't get their cat. 3/3 double strike though. Big. Come on. And it begins. Let's put it on Luris? I'll put it on Luris first. We'll see what happens. Put it on Luris. They have 2 flyers. 3 toughness. Put this on SRAM. Make it a better blocker. Let's attack. They'll probably chump, I'm assuming. Really? Okay. I get a free card then. Another insight. Okay. I could put that on SRAM again, or just put that on Luris. I think I'll just put that on Luris again. Put another cartouche on SRAM, presumably. I could also do it on a Hushbringer. Oh, where are you going, baby? No, I need your power. All right. Here you go. Little maniac. All right. Now we're just hanging out. They just drew lands. There he goes, off into the wild blue. Okay. All right, see you, Yoshi. Nice hanging out with you. Just do that because it's like free. They're gonna gain some life. They're gonna get a bunch of triggers, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Oh, right. They won't gain life. Double first strikers. Of course. Of course. I knew that. All right. Now, here's where the fireworks start, I believe. Okay. Put that there. Draw a bunch of cards. Nice. Put that there. And now we're thrumming. It took us a hot minute, but now we're getting somewhere. Put that here? Put it there. I want that to have some power on it. Arcane Flight, huh? If I knew that, I would have put it on SRAM. Oh well. That's alright. That was a pretty good turn for us, I think. I would say that was a decent turn. They aren't dead. They can just do it like that, but I would not recommend it. I would, thank you. Okay. Gain a whole bunch of life, and then we hang out. Think that will do it, though. Holy moly. That's pretty good. Okay. But not enough. Whew! That was getting a little tenuous, but we did get there. We're 5-1 now, right? Got a Mastery Orb free. 5-1. All right. I'm going to take a very quick cut, though. Be back in 1 second. And we're back. I just wanted to make sure Yoshi was all good. We're 5-1 still. Here's hoping. It's always scary when you're close. It gets scarier the closer you get for me. Because the worst is like, you're like 6-1. And you're like, oh, I just need to win once now. And you just 0-2. Oh, feels so bad. All right. Ugh. Can't keep that. Not thrilled, but I am going to keep it. They're a deck that Hushbringer is good against, and that's good. Ooh, looks potentially like the mirror, but they forgot Luris. Perhaps. I'm going to go Hushbringer just in case they're like a blue-white humans deck. But I feel like this is the mirror. All right. I guess they were some sort of blue-white humans deck. Oh, no. Of course. I was like trying to think of what could they possibly be. They were definitely blue-white humans. They just play Inquisitor Captain Glasspool Mimic. But like Hushbringer is just that nuts against them that like a lot of decks just literally cannot beat it. Nor were they going to be able to, honestly. Okay. That was like so confusing for a second. But Sheep, very savvy. They probably just looked at their hand like, yeah, I'm just not beating Hushbringer. They just moved on. GG, go next. I really like that. Ooh, Luris Mirror. You hate to see it, because that means the Aura's Mirror, which is bad. Well, not bad, but you know what I mean. Or even worse, Arcanist, which is probably this deck's worst matchup by far. But if it is Auras, we do have our Spirit Dancer first. It is the Aura's Mirror. These Hushbringers do not do much, but if they don't have specifically Core Spirit Dancer to counter, we are going to be in decent shape, but they do, unfortunately. All right. That's a lot of Hushbringer. Okay. I can go Staggering Insight first, get some cards, and then grow. That seems pretty reasonable. This also provides me cards, but they could also chump with the Selfless Savior, then. That's tough. I think I'm going to do it this way. Man, I really did not want to see the mirror. That wasn't an awful draw, surprisingly. If I draw like a Plains, then I can play it. Oh, alright. So be it. Shouldn't have said anything. Because that will allow me to chump a Spirit Dancer for a turn. These are the times I regret only playing 1/8 Tunnel. Into lands Aura. Sheesh. Alright. They also have 4 Arcane Flight, so like going the Hushbringer route isn't even that helpful, which is scary. It's what I'm going to do, though, I think. Like, what other choice do I have, right? SRAM? Sure. Definitely going to prompt a chump at this point, I'm sure. Yep. This is rough. So I could go SRAM, because if I draw an Aura, that would be better. Because then I can potentially like do really big Aura chains. I think at this point, is my win condition. Okay. So I can just bounce off their Spirit Dancer, unless they have specifically Arcane Flight. If they do, then I'm going to cry. Because then I really need an Aura, or I'm in very big trouble. Cartouche? Okay. Well, if they play another Aura, we can't bounce anymore, actually. So if they go land Aura, which they almost certainly have to. Yeah, this is the nightmare. Ugh, the Aura's Mirror. Just the worst. Whoever pops off harder just wins. Really comes down to the better hand, and my hand is not very good. We're playing to the outs, though. We played the Ceram out, so if I find, like, my own Arcane Flight and such, then I'm in good shape. But if we whiff like that, we do have to go to our final game. Oh, that is so scary. You hate to see it. All right. Let's get a good matchup, good hands. I love Hushbringer, but drawing 3 of them in the Aura's Mirror, not at all what you're looking for. It's all about Core Spirit Dancer. Nothing else matters. Because even Ceram is not even that good, because you'll never have, like, the speed if the other person has a Spirit Dancer, right? We're facing Kranko themselves. Holy moly. Oh, God. It's not bad. It's just scary. If they have any interaction at all, this hand just falls apart. I think I'm going to keep it. Lands or creatures are both really good draws. Oh no, not Bloodfell Caves. You really hate to see that. I don't know why the land's in that particular, but like red-black, last thing I want to see at this point. All right, well, they have some weirder choices, though. So maybe we're okay? Do I want a Cartouche right now? I don't think so. The Selfless Savior draw was really good. I really want to see a lands. Okay. Come on. Nice. Let's go. All right. So now I have a good blocker. Not sure what my opponent is playing. Also seems like they don't have much of a historic collection. They're just making do. I wonder if this pairs by record, because if they're like 6-2 as well, or close to, that's great. Good for them. Super sick. More War Singers? Sure. That's fine. They don't do anything as it stands. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't like to see that, though. That's a little scary. All right. It's a lot of staggering insights. We're going to go Sentinel's Eyes. Go Staggering Insight. I wish I did it the other way. This Hushbringer seems really good right now, just in case. But so be it. Okay. Worst comes to worst, they go Skyclave Apparition, then I can just go Hushbringer and start loading it up as well. So it's not like I just lose in any capacity, but obviously that's a bit scary. But if I get this Hushbringer down, I believe the game is then over. Main Declaris. I respect the hustle. Okay. Yeah, so it's time to lock the opponent out. All right. Whew. Sheesh. These events are always stressful. But I'm very glad I got there first try. That's really nice. Definitely got pretty lucky. I didn't face an excess of tier strategies, but that's, that's just to be expected. Decathlon isn't necessarily a competitive event. It's just, an event you get to play in for cool prizes and such. We're going to do a really quick screen capture. Gotta do it for the Twitter family, of course. Whoa, it captured my whole screen? Oh, nifty. But anyway, that's Auras. I think it's a really good option for this event. As you saw, it could be a little variance driven, but it's definitely a strong strategy. I very much enjoy playing it. If you're seeing a lot more control or a lot more just got creativity, then you could definitely go the Orzhov route and go more towards the Thoughtseizes. Or you can even go for a more tempo-oriented auras. There were versions that played like 4 Spell Pierce in the past, which I thought were super interesting. And you could definitely look towards that as well, because Spell Pierce is pretty rarely dead. Like, even against like the creature decks, you can just tag Cocos, and it's very rare to be able to pay for it. So, a lot to consider. So, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I know this video is definitely a bit on the longer side because I went through a whole Decathlon run, but I'm hoping you enjoyed anyway. Have a great day, and best of luck if you're playing the Decathlon events.